Welcome, everyone, to the CDO Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ Symposium, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers. Today, I'd like to introduce Mario Pereira, Vice President of Gartner Research Board. Welcome, Mario.
Thank you so much, Robert. It's a pleasure to be here again with the MIT CDO team.
It's a pleasure. What I'd like to do is, if you're okay with it, I'd like to start with a couple of background questions to have our audience become a little bit more familiar with you. Most people have heard of Gartner, but they may not have heard of the Gartner Research Board. Could you maybe provide a little bit more background on to the Gartner Research Board?
Good, yeah, so thank you so much. So Gartner Research Board is a unit at Gartner that is focused on supporting leaders, IT leaders, DNA leaders, and other executives from large and global companies. Okay, so Research Board was a company that was created in 1973 before Gartner, and Gartner acquired the company 21 years ago. And we focus on supporting those executives from those large companies with their mission critical priorities, providing them with research, a peer connect, and leading edge insights on how the market is moving forward.
And Mario, you certainly do provide a lot of insights, and we welcome you to the MIT CDO IQ Symposium with your insights as well. So just a sort of softball question. How did you get started in data management, data analytics?
Okay, it's a very good question. And I have to say to Professor Richard Wong. So Professor Richard Wong in 2010, early 2010, met with the CEO of a company in Brazil, where I am originally from. And that company was promoted a conversation between the CDO and Professor Richard Wong. And Professor Richard Wong told the CEO, guys, you need a CDO, a Chief Data Officer. Your business is data. You better be treating data as an asset here. And a few months after, the CEO reached out to me and said, Mario, we're looking for a Chief Data Officer. We'd like you to offer the position. I said, great, thank you so much, but what is a Chief Data Officer? I had no idea about the role. So I accepted the invitation and I started to know a little bit more about the role was about. And I was so fortunate to be part of the community that Professor Richard Wong put together. So for years, I was an active member of the MIT CDO Summit. I was there participating initially as a guest and for several years as a speaker. So that's why I started, because my background was in CRM, supply chain, and digital marketing. So I had no idea with a lot of things about data governance and data quality. So I learned those skills as I became a CDO. I'll say learn on the fly.
We hear that a lot, that the CDO role is one that is evolving, and I'm certainly going to talk to that. Maybe I'll put a little plug in here for the MIT CDO IQ Symposium, which is coming up in August. This year it's going to be virtual, so appreciate the mention there, Mario. Thank you. And it's amazing to see that from 2010, pretty much there wasn't a lot of CDOs around there, but maybe this is a good lead into the next question that we have, is that, in your opinion, obviously with Gartner Research Board, how does a company decide that they need to hire a CDO? And what would some of the indicators that tells executives that they need to hire a CDO?
Yeah, so it really depends a lot on the business that the company is in, or their appetite to invest to become a data-driven business. Some companies belong to markets who are quite well regulated. So the chief data officer role started in banks and very focused on compliance and regulation. Okay. However, throughout the years, the CDO role has been evolved a lot, and we see CDOs doing a lot of different activities. So someone asks, hey, should my company appoint a CDO? We try to ask a few questions to understand the appetite, the need, and so on. Let me tell you, maybe not all the companies will have a chief data officer, but all the companies in the world should have someone responsible for the data, trying to make sure that the data is well protected, making sure that data is used properly, not just complying with the regulation, but on an ethical way. So that role sometimes might fall to a DNA leader, might fall to someone in IT, might fall to a specific someone in business. The point is, all companies should have one looking at how the data is being managed and treated properly, and looking at how that data can bring some business benefits.